Yeah, here in Milwaukee, the public schools face a lot of the same problems that Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools face, especially the low-income and minority schools, where the kids fall farther and farther behind state standards in reading and math and just about every other subject. But the difference here in Milwaukee is that decades ago, well, Milwaukee decided to do something about it. Since the 60s, Milwaukee's historic Harambee School has been a haven in this minority neighborhood.
645, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90.
A place they could count on, educating generations of kids in Milwaukee's inner city.
I will give help when needed, and I will treat others.
But Harambee isn't a public school, it's a private choice school campus. And every second grader you see in this classroom transferred out of Milwaukee public schools because of problems that sound a little too familiar to CMS families. Just ask Milwaukee teachers.
You see the same thing you see in every major city, which is insane turnover. And then every time you turn over teachers, kids fall behind.
And parents.
And it just wasn't a great experience. He started out as K3 and he didn't flourish. He didn't really succeed the way that I wanted him to.
And even the former Milwaukee school superintendent.
Yeah, I mean, when I was superintendent, there were over 100,000 kids in the Milwaukee public school system. Today, there's 60,000. And the reason for that is because parents have other options.
Dr. Howard Fuller says the shakeup in Milwaukee's public schools came when he and other leaders in the African American community pushed for the Milwaukee Parental Choice Program, using tax dollars for vouchers that let low-income families send their kids to better private schools instead.
Let's say you're a family. We've created an education ecosystem in the city of Milwaukee that gives low-income and working-class parents choices that they would not ordinarily have.
But the view of vouchers here in Milwaukee's minority neighborhoods as a school choice program created by and supported by local black leaders to benefit the minority neighborhoods, well, it's a lot different than the view of vouchers back home in North Carolina. The advocacy group Public Schools First North Carolina says our traditional public schools consistently get high marks from parents, that voucher programs siphon money from local public schools, and that vouchers were originally created for white families who wanted to keep their children in segregated white schools. What you see in Milwaukee instead are the best choice schools in the city's poorest neighborhoods, with mostly minority families using Milwaukee's full tuition vouchers to escape low-performing public schools just a few blocks away.
For those families, it's an absolute lifeline. Without vouchers, we would not be serving 1,200 children on 3 campuses and be a 5-star school.
Henry TYSON is the superintendent of St. Marcus Lutheran School, an inner-city Milwaukee choice school where the students are 95% minority and 80% low income. But their reading scores are 8 times higher than similar low-income minority public schools.
So what that means is if your child is walking into a school with 400 kids in it, 8 of them can read at grade level. It's mind-numbingly tragic, and vouchers have provided an out for some of those children.
Next paragraph.
The kids were reading, and the teachers told me, your girls, they're not reading.
That must have been a shock.
It was a shock. It was a shock.
Colette Lewis talks about her twin girls before they started in the voucher program at St. Marcus 4 years ago, when she found out what they weren't learning in the public schools.
I played the blame game. I played the blame game on myself, on the teachers, because how did we miss this? How did we miss this? You know, with these kids, it's there, it's plain in sight. We should be in tune with our kids.
But after the blame is gone, then you got to find a better way.
Then you got to find a better way.
Sometimes you just got to change up things. Change is good.
Tiffany Street says for her special needs son Dante, the change from a public school to a choice school changed everything.
Honor roll to, honor student, and I mean, he's doing great things.
It's really evident that if you can keep teachers, you see better student retention, which leads to better success rates.
Former public school teacher David MENK says here at St. Marcus, teachers get coaching and training and time to work with struggling students one-on-one. It's a difference that parents who send their kids to inner city public schools often never hear about.
But the minute they walk in the doors of that school, they're 3 years behind because they just don't know that at that school, nobody reads on grade level.
So a lot of times when parents are seeking another school, they're finding out that we have more resources than they even thought. They want to be here and are so excited when they get that call or that letter. It's just, there's tears, absolute tears.
The voucher program has resulted in, maybe 24 really, really good schools.
They set the bar very high.
Ravion Piggy is a graduating senior this year, on his way to Marquette University next year, giving us the tour here at HFCA, another one of those really good inner-city Milwaukee schools.
There's no such thing as failure here.
That started out as a choice school 10 years ago.
I'm glad they pushed me this way because now I'm successful. Now I have a high school diploma. Now I'm going to college.
And he's not the only one. In fact, ever since this low-income, mostly minority high school opened, every single senior here for 10 years has been accepted to college.
But you see UW Green Bay, UW Platteville, Whitewater, Parkside, those are all UW schools.
Howard Fuller, the former Milwaukee school superintendent we met earlier, shows us the college acceptance letters. Here at the high school, they named in his honor, not Howard Fuller High, but Howard Fuller Collegiate Academy.
It isn't about what kids are like when they walk in here, is what is they like when they walk out of here. Because what choice is about, it's a self-determination issue. It's giving low-income and working-class black and brown families a way to determine what is best for their children. The type of school that it is shouldn't matter. We would not have what we have today if back in 1980s there was not those of us who were willing to fight for it.
Yeah, Dr. Fuller adds that what works here in Milwaukee, the school choice program, may not work everywhere. It may not work in Charlotte, Mecklenburg, but he says because of the success they've had for decades here in Milwaukee, it's worth trying.
We hope you enjoyed the story. If you don't want to miss any more great stories about the Charlotte region, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.